Well, this is going to be a new experience for me. This is going to be the first time streaming, so just giving it more of a test than anything else to see how it works. Hopefully, everything is fine and doing well, and hopefully, everything is coming through like it should do. It's one of them really weird things where you're never ever 100% certain if anybody's ever watching this thing or if anything's happening at all. So I don't know. It might be. Oh Christ! It might be working. It might not be. That's me DMC'd straight away. So all I'm just trying to work out is it working or is it not? Which it might not be. It's hard to say. Oh no, it's in. Dylan, welcome to the stream. Hello. Thank you for joining me, mate. Appreciate it. So yeah, this is just first test. Like I said, mate, was just to see whether or not it's something that I want to kind of continue doing and just something to spice up the content a little bit and make things sort of a little bit different and just bring something, like I say, a little bit new, maybe talk about Leeds United a little bit. Obviously, that's something that we all need to kind of look at. So well done on being the first man to come and watch one of these, Dylan. I really do appreciate it overall, mate. Thank you. So yeah, it's just, oh God, this is really weird. Danny, what's happening? Evening, mate. Thank you for joining. Really appreciate it. Hello. Yeah, this is strange doing this live because I'm very conscious of the fact that I need to say stuff that's interesting and Leeds United related kind of thing. So any questions that you want to ask, anybody that's watching, feel free. Say anything in the comment section down below or at the side or wherever, and I'll do my best to answer any questions that I've got. But I think mainly what I wanted to have a little chat about for this particular moment in time is just looking at Leeds' next fixtures. So let's just have a quick look and see if I can do this correctly, which is seeing if I can share a screen. So bear with me while we do this. So if I click on share screen, click a window, click it onto there, do that, and it should, yay, I can make stuff work. So looking at Leeds' next fixtures over here. So we've got 2 home games, Derby and then Middlesbrough. We're then away to Preston and we are at home to Oxford. Sort of the next block of 4 that we've got going on there. So let's have a look. Paul, do you think Joseph is now third choice striker? When Fart was brought in for the let's highlight that. So, Danny, I don't think Joseph is third choice striker. I think the decision to use Bamford in the last game was purely a reactionary thing. I think also as well is to potentially give Joseph a bit of a kick up the backside compared to what he was doing before and kind of switching just between Piroe and Joseph. I think it's obvious that Piroe is now number 1 just because of his chances created, although I do think he's going to be switched. But I don't think Joseph is going to be third choice striker. It's going to be interesting to see what happens in January. Farke's already said he wants a quiet January overall. He doesn't want a busy January. But for me, we need a number 9 and we need a number 10. A 9 particularly to put pressure on, and a 10 off of the basis of that we want that creative midfielder rather than that kind of destructive midfielder in the number 10 role that we've got in Aronson, the one that continually presses all the time. Let's see this one. 4 points if we're lucky out of them games. I don't know, Danny. I say we beat Derby. We beat Preston. Preston haven't got Miller this year, and Miller is the one that always gives us trouble. Oxford, we should be winning Oxford. If we're not beating Oxford, then that's the concern. But Middlesbrough is probably my main worry out of all of the games that we've got left to play. I mean, they're free scoring. We just have to be strong and defend really well, and we owe them for what happened last time around, in my humble opinion, for what they did to us in the League Cup overall. How would I rate Farke's performance so far this season? Let me see. It's a difficult one. Now, I'm a Farke person. I'm not somebody that thinks Farke needs to be sacked by any stretch of the imagination. There isn't anybody available that could be doing a better job than him at the moment. Plus, he is the most successful manager in this division, etc., so on and so forth. I'd probably give him, he's at about a 6.5 and a 7 out of 10 at the moment for me. My biggest complaint for Farke has always been the same, is that I don't like the late substitutions and I don't like the inability to not change it up a little bit depending on who we're playing against, like we saw in pre-season, the 3-4-3. So they would be my two sort of main biggest criticisms of him kind of at the moment in terms of how I feel and what I think about the overall side of things. But I give him about a 7 out of 10 at the moment. I think the fairest time to look at it all properly would be in and around after the Christmas period, because when you look at it, those games that we've got, let's see, we've got Derby, Middlesbrough, Preston, Oxford, Stoke, Derby again, and then on the 1st of January we've got Blackburn. So let's see. I think we beat Preston, Derby against. I think we beat Derby. My honest opinion, I think we beat Derby. We should be beating Derby anyways. I don't think we get battered by Borough. I think our defensive midfield and defence is too strong. Hope I'm right for that one. So I don't think we get battered by Borough. I think there's a strong chance that we could win that game. I wouldn't be too surprised if it's not too dissimilar to last year's Borough game that we played. So let's see. He's always done the same subs, even when he was at Norwich. Yeah, true. He's kind of got the same ones that he kind of brings on, but now he does have, in terms of who he's playing and what he's doing, he has got that kind of decision that needs making in terms of Ramazani, Solomon, Nonto, and James. For me, I'm a big fan of Dan James and what he brings to the actual table on a regular basis. I think he's fantastic. I think he does really, really well every time that he plays, every time that I've seen him play anyways. My Solomon, I do like. I think he's starting to show a little bit more, but I think Ramazani probably, even though he's still coming back from injury, is probably just at a bit of a higher level than him at the moment. Nonto, hit and miss, can be really, really good. He's missed 5 big chances this season, though, the same as Aronson. So I'll need that consistency in form really yet so far. How can we change our away form? What do you do? It's a difficult question. It's a difficult one to answer. I don't think he needs to look so much at a change of formation. I think he needs to fit players in that suit the system and the team that we're playing against. For me, I would have had Dan James on against Blackburn. I think Dan James would have torn them a new behind pretty much without any, worry at all. I think he would have done a fantastic job against Blackburn. Peru was the right one to start. I did kind of say that I felt like Aronson needs a rest. That's not being critical of Aronson. I just think overall his performances have dropped a little bit because he's playing so much and he could probably do with just a little bit of a break. And it would have been nice to see that front three, Solomon, Ramazani, Nonto, or James, Ramazani, not just kind of that sort of slight difference in terms of the way that it works and the way that it looks overall. It would have been, I think that's maybe something that we could look to do. Yeah, I agree, Danny. To be fair, actually, I think it starts now. I think the run starts now. I think this is a real opportunity for us in these 6 games, bar Middlesbrough. We should be looking to win all of those games, 100% be looking to win all of those games without worrying about it. We should be going in with confidence, saying it with our chest, and getting back to the top of the league again and doing what we need to do. It's going to come down to consistency at the end of the day. There isn't a Leicester that's running away with it, or an Ipswich, same sort of thing. So I think overall the fight starts now, so to speak. Danny, if he does that, that's going to be absolutely frightening and at the same time very upsetting as well. Let's see. Does Aronson need a rest and Cameron is that? Yeah, I think Ramazani could do a job in there. I think Nonto could do a job in there. And again, for the people that can get a bit uppity about saying when you think that Ramazani needs to that Aronson needs to come away, Richard, when people are saying he's integral to the way that Farke likes to play with that high press and moving everything quick. I don't think there's any difficulty or any harm in bringing him out and putting somebody else in to maybe potentially give us another option. So if we're struggling in the game to break something down, because we haven't got a rutter this year that can just create something out of absolutely nothing, or a Somerville that's just going to cut in from the left all the time. Ramazani's probably the closest replacement to Somerville that we've got overall, but I think that he could make a bit of a difference. So it's just keeping those fingers crossed, and I just hope that we get the win, because we just need to calm down a little bit with regards to how people feel about everything. Because, you know, whilst I understand that people can get upset about results and can get upset about the way that we're playing and what we're doing and how we're doing it, blah, 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 and, you know, Farke needs to go, and we just need to calm it down a little bit. Everybody's entitled to be upset. Do not get me wrong. You can be upset. Absolutely. I'm very reactionary when we lose. You only need to ask my wife. I'm miserable for the rest of the weekend. But in the grand scheme of things, we've lost 3 all season so far. We sit third, and it's 3 points off top spot. So in the cold, hard light of day, we are well within touching distance. And it's important to remember that it's a marathon, it's not a sprint. And we have to try and keep positive and just be up for the fight. It's going to be difficult. It was never, ever going to be easy. I think this league isn't. It's notoriously not. Anybody can beat anybody at any given time. You've just got to, whilst being annoyed and upset about the performances is fine, you've just reel it in a little bit. Just try and calm it a little bit if you can do, and try and be happy, whatever. Just, you can be miserable. It's fine. It's just, I was in Joe's stream the other week, and what was said to me, I got given abuse because of something that I said, because I got annoyed with the reactions that I saw online. I just said, right, we should just give up the season now. And somebody said to me, you just miffed because you can't grow a beard. You know, fair enough. I'm very, very patchy. I'm a 44-year-old man-child. If a lorry was to go past me quickly, it would just go poof. So it's whatever. People can say what they want. It's fine. But just that criticism, constructive, fine. Personal insults, don't do it. It's silly, and you make yourself look silly. I think we lose to Borough and Blackburn on New Year's Day. Disagree. I do disagree. This might be a bit of a kick up a backside that we do actually need a little bit. So I disagree to the extent that we lose against Borough and Blackburn on New Year's Day. So you're entitled to think that, Daniel. That's absolutely fine. So we'll just have to see. If you don't try anything, you never know what can be. I think Farke needs to experiment more. It could be good. He was playing 3 at the back pre-season. To be fair, Richard, yeah, he was. And we looked really, really good in this, doing that 3-4-3 from what we saw. It looked good in a couple of games. And Farke did say that he was going to change it up in the new season, and he hasn't done that so far. And whilst I get what Danny's saying here in terms of, sorry, phone's on. Whilst I get what Danny's saying in terms of pre-season is for fitness and everything, it absolutely is, and that's fine. It's I think we all know that with Farke. He's very, very risk averse. When it goes right and how it should, it turns out like a Luton game. And when it goes wrong and not how it should, it turns out like a Blackburn game. I'm in the Joe school of thinking for this. We have the best players in the league by far in terms of squad, in terms of depth that we've got now compared to where we were. I mean, come on, you lose Ampadu, you lose Gruev, and then we're managing to replace them with who we're managing to replace them with? Sorry, managing to replace them with Tanaka and Rothwell. And Tanaka for me is ridiculous. I wish his agent wouldn't talk him up as much as what he's doing at the moment, but that's the agent's job, I suppose, really, in terms of how it all works and how it all goes. Yeah, no, I agree, Danny. My thing that I've seen is, I think what you'll find is probably Tanaka will probably play more forward. I think Ampadu comes back in that defensive, like, quarterback role. And then you'll probably find that it'll be one of the two between Rothwell and Tanaka. I mean, at the moment, Tanaka overall, let's just have a quick look in terms of summary. If you go to players, where is he? Find the badge, it's easier. There we go. If you look at Tanaka overall, he's just, for us, he's just an absolutely ridiculous player. Yeah, no, I agree. That could be an option, Danny. He could go in there as a 10, but it's whether or not he can actually play that role. He's played that role for Japan, in fairness, and done quite well with it as well, in terms of where he sits and being able to progress the ball forward. I mean, his passing accuracy is just stupid. I mean, look at this. 92% passing accuracy in the championship. It's dumb. In the Bundesliga, it was 90.6, and 99 the second division Bundesliga, 91.9. That's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. He's such a good player. I cannot get away from the fact of how good he is as a player. Absolutely brilliant. Sub at 70, if you don't do it early in at least one game, you don't know if it could help you. I think it would help. Yeah, the problem is that Farke is very stubborn in terms of the way that he plays. And that's my worry in terms of, could that end up being to the detriment of us? However, we're saying that when he made the early substitution with Byram, bringing Byram off, I know Byram was slightly injured and he brought Wobron, who, listen, I've got my opinions of him in terms of how he plays, what he does, all of that kind of stuff. So overall, I am not Wobra's biggest fan, but bringing Wobra on changed the game somewhat and made it a little bit better in terms of that moving forward, because there was an issue there because Byram was getting tired, and the slightly early substitution just helped us regain that control again over in the match. So if he did, I would probably say it would be in the 60th minute. So we just have to wait and see. Let's see. Richard, he's always changed his substitute. Yeah, he has. Yeah, pretty much. Liam, welcome. Your opinions are respected here. I'm not going to give you crap because I'm very much a Farkin. You're entitled to that opinion, and it's just, who do we get in? Would be my question to that. Who is available now that we could swap Farke with? That's the only thing that I would say in terms of bringing somebody else in. Who would we bring in replacement of Farke overall? And at this current moment in time, there isn't anybody. Do you really want Gerrard in? Oh, I disagree with the Gerrard thing. Knutson, but Gerrard, I don't want him anywhere near our team. And the reason that I say that is, look at what he did at Aston Villa, and then look now in terms of the position that Aston Villa are in with the coach that they have at the moment. Champions League, potentially challenging for honours. Just completely different. I don't think... See, for me, this brings in that other question with regards to managers and bringing in different types of managers or different styles of managers. Look at what happened to Birmingham. Sacking the manager, bringing Rooney in, and they're now in League One. You look at other managers like... Rooney is struggling everywhere that he goes. Like Lampard, how he keeps getting managerial jobs, I'll never know. I don't think footballers, unless you're a Xavi Alonso with a different kind of football mentality, bring loads to the table in some cases. Let's have a look what we're saying now. Then. So Gerrard win the title with Rangers. It was fantastic football. Villa was the wrong team for him. The Scottish League still isn't as strong. And the thing with the Scottish League is there's only ever going to be two challengers for the title in the Scottish League, pretty much. I know Rangers were out of it for a little bit, but now they're back. There's pretty much only ever going to be two, possibly three challengers for the Scottish title overall, in my opinion. So respectfully, I'd have to disagree with the Gerrard thing. Villa might have been the wrong team from him, but he did bring a lot of players in, and he couldn't coach them to do better than what Emre's doing now. So it's a horses for, I don't know, it's a horses for courses thing. Like I said, I respect your opinion. If you want to be Farke, that's absolutely fine overall. I've got no issues with that. But like I said, you've got to come with different rather than just saying Fark out, you've got to give a little bit more. If you put Rangers Celtic into this English league, I don't think there'd be League Two. There'd be Championship, bottom, Premiership, pretty much. Maybe it's fine. Joe Blackburn and Evie as assistant. Are you happy now? Hey, listen, Evie could be as an assistant at any time. She's a very, very knowledgeable person, as is Joe, to be fair. Overall, hey, listen, if they could come in and do a job, who knows? It could be quite an interesting thing to see. You never know. Overall, it could be fun. It could be interesting. I would like to. God, could you imagine Evie on the sidelines being really, really pissed off and shouting at everybody? That would make me giggle. Let's see. So are we saying Farkas should start to try other things instead of doing the same things every time? An element of surprise. Teams know what's going to happen, so you can become predictable. There needs to be, I think there potentially needs to be a little bit more flexibility in what Farkas doing overall. That little element of surprise would work quite well. But the one thing that I will say, the biggest issue that we have, so I just need to get a drink. I've got a really dry throat. The biggest problem that we have is when we slow down the play, that's when we generally tend to not lose control of the game, but then become more predictable. When we play quickly or play to what our strengths are overall, that's when we generally tend to play a lot better. And for me, that's generally when we tend to be absolutely untouchable as a team. That's just in terms of how I feel overall. So let's just have a look. I just like to look at these little team statistic bits here, just in terms of overall. So when you look at it, obviously, because we have a lot of the play, we're very packed midfield-wise, 32% in the opposition third overall. But when you look at it from a point of view of the attacking sides, we are very much overall a left-hand side attacking side in terms of a footballing team and what we actually do. Not as much goes down the left-hand side. When you look at that from a home point of view, statistics say very much the same, and away, very much the same. So what that kind of shows is that we generally tend to do the same sort of thing. Be in the middle of the park with a lot of going down the left-hand side. But interestingly, the percentages are higher. So nearly 50% we have in terms of being in the middle of the park on a regular basis. That's where we generally tend to have the ball a lot. And that's because of that mid-low block that we often find ourselves coming up against. When you look at the shot trajectory overall from the team as well, so overall for this, so let's see, where are we at? So again, shot trajectory, middle, interestingly, although it doesn't feel like it comes, the majority comes through the middle. Left-hand side, 16%, right-hand side, 18%. In the shot zones, 57% is in the 18-yard box. It's only 9% that's in the 6-yard box. And for me, this is something that really needs talking about a little bit more. I think what this comes down to is a lack of crossing into the box overall, or a lack of through ball through into the box. And this is where, for me, the conversation of Joseph comes into it. Joseph is very much a 6-yard box player in terms of being a striker. So what we don't do is we don't play to Joseph's strengths. So if we were playing to Joseph's strengths and playing the box in, I would see that 9% going up a hell of a lot more. And I think he would be doing a lot more with that. When it comes to home side of things, again, it's very, very similar in terms of the way that it does, the way that it goes. And away, this is the interesting point. Look at the difference away in terms of shot directions, where it all comes from. Everything is from the middle. So other teams against us know the majority of stuff is going to come down the middle and not out wide overall. And again, a lot of it is, the majority is inside the 18-yard box or just outside the 18-yard box. But I mean, I know a lot of us say that we should be shooting more out from outside of the box. But just those little statistics, it's good just to put it into there and just kind of see how we feel sort of overall about everything. What's Richard saying there? Saying tempo all game, even if we are winning, we're unplayable. And yeah, when the tempo's high, we genuinely genuinely can't be touched. We play so well, and we do it in such a way that really strangles other teams. We've seen it, and it's this. I think the one thing that I would really like us to see us do more of is really go for the jugular in terms of not taking the foot off of the gas. I want us to put teams to the sword. That's my other biggest annoyance with the way that we play sometimes, is the insistence of, we just seem to, we did it against Plymouth, it was just slowing it down a little bit when we could have gone for more, we could have gone for more, we could have gone for more, and we just didn't. But that quick play is where it's at for us, because like I said, we can't be touched. It's just one of those things overall. When we're quick, we can't be touched. So just going down here in terms of, I like to look at these, and this is what I like to look at in terms of when we're looking at games and stuff overall, and we're looking at teams. These are some good indications of where we're at and what we're doing, and kind of how we're doing it. So our weaknesses, aerial duels and avoiding offsides, but in terms of where we're very, very strong, counter-attacks, creating long shot opportunities. I wish we'd take more long shots. We've got some good, solid, accurate people on the balls, creating chances using through balls, which is that to the centre, again, kind of momentum, defending set pieces, creating chances through individual skill, strong at finishing chances, strong at creating, scoring chances. We're very good at protecting the lead. Usually 9 times out of 10 when we score first, we generally would win the game overall. What I want to see us do more of, though, is that where that counter-attack section is just starting to convert that more into scoring and winning opportunities or overall. At the moment, I don't feel like we do as much, hence why we generally tend to not be as profitable in front of goal, or as much as what we would like to see. One thing I did just want to note, let's just have a look overall. So goal types, pass types, where was the thing? Goals against. So in terms of our goals against, we're actually doing quite well in terms of where that actually sits. So Leeds positional statistics, that's overall home and away. So goals against, I'm trying to see if I can find, I don't think I can in terms of, I can't at the moment in terms of looking for where we need to, for where we get punished as much. And listen, for me, it's no coincidence that the game against Blackburn, I do think Firpo was a little bit rusty, and I do think, if I'm being 100% honest, I would have, even though I don't like the guy, I would have liked to have seen Woba starting at left back and Firpo coming on for minutes. That would have been my personal opinion overall. Could be completely wrong, but that could be my opinion overall. Fark is saying scoring the first 15, 20 minutes, then protect the lead. It's so frustrating. Yeah, I can see how it feels that way overall. So I kind of get that and I understand that. However, the one thing that I will say is it's almost, it does feel that way. It feels like if we get to 2-0 or 3-0, it's almost like he goes, you see him on the sidelines going, just calm down. But I think release the shackles is probably what I want to see overall. That's how I want us to play more often. I want us to play with that pace and that power and injecting everything into it and just being very, very good overall. It's just a shame that we get into some games and unfortunately it just doesn't appear that it's going to work that way. It just, like I said, we've all been there. We get bored or frustrated with the game. The one and only game where I haven't been like properly bored would be, I mean, the Luton game was just absolutely brilliant. That's where for me everything absolutely clicked. That's where we went from second gear and went like into like 2.5, nearly third gear. I was hoping we'd go for a little bit more and it would work well. Yeah, agree. I think Woe was gone in January. I couldn't care less if he was gone in January, really. We've got enough in terms of Byram and Firpo in terms of cover there, so fine. I don't like the guy. I don't like his attitude. I don't think he deserves to wear a Leeds United shirt. by any stretch of the imagination. I am, like I said, I'm happy with what we've got. So, I mean, look, I don't hate the guy in terms of when he's playing. If he's playing for us and doing all right, then, you know, I'll support the guy. But overall, I don't like him as a player. It would be infuriating for me. So, yeah, like I said, what for me, the main thing is that overall, I want to see a number 10 coming in January, hopefully, fingers crossed. The quiet January thing does concern me. I'm not going to lie. Like I said, I'd really like to see a number 10 coming in January, possibly a number 9 as well. I think Bamford potentially goes in January. The only issue that we've got is that his he won't go loan. It'd be a permanent if he has to go. But the only problem that we've got is that his wages are too high for anybody at the moment. I think what he's on suspected or reported 70 grand a week. Nobody's going to be paying that by any stretch of the imagination. I think Joffrey goes as well, which is sad for me. It's one of those things. I've got a lot of time for Joffrey. Again, like Dan James, he's somebody that has never complained, never shirked it, never done anything wrong. I think it's just one of those situations where it's just not worked out for him at all. It's a shame. It happens in football. Not everybody's going to come in and fit straight away. Like I said, it's just one of those things overall. So let me just share again. I need to get quicker at doing this, really, but there we go. So overall, at the moment, this is where league table standings. Obviously, I think it's Sheffield United, Middlesbrough this weekend. So somebody's dropped Friday. So overall, we could be going top again. We'll have to wait and see. So let me just see there what's Richard saying. Not just any number 10 though, got to be a baller, and that's how, yeah, it is tough. I mean, Buendia could be an option, maybe. He's not getting a look in at the moment where he's playing, so I don't know. Potentially, it's a difficult one. It's a really, really, really difficult one. I mean, Rutter was just a phenomenal player in terms of what he did and the way that he played the game overall. So we've just got to keep the faith with what we've got. Aronson does need a rest, though, in my humble opinion. And I think if they're going to give him a rest, for me, it would have been Blackburn. But then I think they need to do it this coming weekend in particular. I think Blackburn was probably one of his poorest performances for a bit. He did okay to a certain degree, but I think he was off it quite a lot. And I think the rest might do him some good. Again, that's just personal opinion overall. So just this quick look at the league table for where we are. So we're sitting third. The nice thing with where we're at in terms of goals, we're still doing good for goals conceded. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting six games coming up towards the new year. I think it's going to tell us a lot more about where we all are. But the big thing for me is that Sheffield United are on 38 points. We're on 35. It's still so far in our hands in terms of the way that it works that we've just got to keep believing and just kind of got to keep putting everything forward. I mean, look at that form for Sunderland, by the way. Drawn, lost. That's nuts. And they were running away with it before, overall. That was funny. There's some tough fixtures for everybody coming up at the moment. So it's who's got the bottle in the bite, and hopefully that is us. Right. I think that's been a successful first live stream anyways. Thank you ever so much for being in here with me. Thank you ever so much for your questions and stuff that you've said. So I appreciate that. Now that I've got the heebie-jeebies out of the way and I feel a little bit more confident in myself for doing this again at a later date. So yeah. If you've not subscribed to the video, subscribe. Please like the live stream, all of that kind of stuff. And if you're watching it back, not being live, then thanks for watching anyways. Take care of yourselves. Well, take care of each other. Most importantly, take care of yourself. And I'll see you either on the next video or the next live stream. Thank you ever so much again. It means a lot. Cheers.